Yeah.
Tune in now to your two dad show. Ooh, JJ and Deacon, they're the ones in the know. Subscribe quick, the Squid Monster's on the way. Inspire with us, tomorrow's news today. It's more, yeah.
Stories like AOC says out loud that hush money trial is an ankle monitor for Donald Trump. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the show. I'm JJ. That's Dave. Nope, that's Deacon. That's Dave. And we are your internet dads. Hey, it was backwards. It was right, left, right. I don't know. Whatever.
I'm trying to give Deke a high five, and he isn't feeling it. Other. There you go.
I'm usually on this. Here. Look, this is all messed up. Here, let's do this. I'm usually here to give you a high five. I have to.
Okay.
There we go.
All right. So that's Deacon, and this is Dave. Wait.
Oh my God. Nice to meet you. I've only known you for a decade.
Terrible jokes.
Both of you for a decade.
We meet here Monday through Friday on youtube.com/@internetdads to drink coffee and talk about the news and culture, politics, religion, metaphysics, science, astronomy, ghosts, werewolves,
positive
and
messages.
Yeah, and just to start your day off with a little bit of sunshine.
I'm going to give you one more that we add to your day. Genius money-making ideas. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've got one here for you.
And professional segues. Don't forget those.
In professional segues. Yeah, Joey was commenting on professional segues. I've got you one, JJ. Pull the picture back up again.
Yeah,
pull the title card back up. Okay, you see how you got AOC kind of photo bombing popping up there in the background? Okay.
Yes.
Have you seen those? It's a I've seen it on TikTok because the Chinese are trying to destroy our brain. You can move that thing now if you want to. I've seen it on TikTok, and it's one of those little. I don't know what they're called. They're like, the little face changers and stuff that Snapchat has. You can go to Snapchat and look, and it's got all, but it has like little things that pop up behind you and whatnot. And it has flowers and whatever. The little
green screen
photo things. Well, there's a new one that's out where you're sitting there and I would hold it to you. I'd be like, look. And then while you're looking at it, this freaking person pops up over your shoulder real quick, and these people are turning around. It's so funny, these people's reactions.
Oh my gosh!
Looking at your video this morning, looking at your title card this morning, I'm thinking, if we sold one of those with AOC popping up behind people,
oh my God! Yeah, nobody wants to see that. Nobody.
I would love to see your reaction to have AOC pop up behind you. That would be the funniest thing in the world to me.
I'd probably be like,
it's a money-making idea, people. Somebody take that and steal it.
I don't know.
Just want a free copy.
I don't know. Who would pay money for that? I don't know who would pay money. You'd pay money to put it onto somebody else.
How are you in 2024 asking the question, who would pay money for that? Don't you realize by now there are so many stupid people in this world? They literally sell boxes of turds on the internet that I can get sent to somebody else. A box of horse crap, a box of dog crap. People will buy anything.
Okay, so how do we do that? Because we have a T-shirt store that I don't think anybody's ever visited.
We have T-shirts? I didn't know we had T-shirts.
I didn't either.
Okay.
Figure out how to code that crap, Mr. Computer man. I'm the creative person.
Yeah.
Dave is our conscience. Conscience.
Okay, let's get into the news. Okay. So the title. So we got a couple of interesting stories. I chose this one over the other one because it's a little bit more salacious, but it's kind of
salacious.
The entire point of this lawfare stuff is to prevent Donald Trump from holding rallies and talking to people, because people like Donald Trump. Now, there's people that don't like Donald Trump, I know, but the people that like him go to these rallies and get juiced up. And here's a secret. I don't know if you guys know this secret or not. Enthusiasm is contagious. You can't help it. It is deep down it's human. Energy. You're saying energy. I'm saying it's a psychological contagion.
You're exactly right, though. Your brain produces it. it exudes out of you a little bit. You don't see it because we have crappy eyes, nose, and ears. But you have an energy that's
okay.
I know you don't believe this, but I do.
Yeah.
And when you get 5, 20, 50,000 people in a room that are all excited and all charged and all vibrating at a certain level or whatever you call it, absolutely it's contagious because we are nothing but atoms. And the atoms are positive, negative, and neutral.
Go to a sports game. You'll see it.
Go to a sports game. I always used to say about fish concerts, okay? I've been to like 18 fish concerts, and anybody that's never listened to Fish, I'm like, even if you don't know, I would love to take anyone, to a Fish concert.
I like Fish. I've never been to a Fish concert.
Okay, so here's the difference. If you don't know, I always used to say this, even if you don't know a song, you are going to have such a fantastic time because every single person there is happy, lovey. I always used to make this, if you're at any other concert and you step on somebody's foot real hard, you could be in a confrontation if you don't, diffuse, you accidentally push somebody or knock somebody, you could potentially be in a conversation. Not at a Fish show. You accidentally run in and you knock somebody down to the ground or whatnot, dude, they're going to get up and give you a hug and there is no
there's no mosh pits at a Fish concert.
The energy is so wonderful, and you're talking about the same thing. It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
All right, so I am that's a different way of looking at it.
Yeah, it's a different way of looking at it.
Deke, let's go to a Fish concert.
Let's do it. They're in Nashville. They're in Nashville here this summer.
Oh man,
let's go.
I'm in.
So when I was in sales many years ago, that was one of the things that I learned and used, which is if you manifest in excitement about something, some other people, it's not a rational thinking thing. It's something else. Other people will perceive that you are excited about something. They don't understand why, but they like to be excited too. And they're going to just like, okay, let's go.
I just explained why. You just don't want to accept it.
I don't.
Your energy is excited. It makes my energy excited. It makes Dave's energy excited.
It's appealing.
We don't know what the hell we're excited about, but we're excited because you're excited. That's what Ashley used to say when I would talk about Contest of Champions. And I'd be like, blah, 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 and this, and the Alliance did this, and JJ said this on the podcast, and blah, blah, blah. And she'd be kind of sitting there. And I would always joke, you don't give two craps, do you? And she was like, no, but you do.
Oh,
I mean, that's what she would say. She would be like, no, but you do. It makes me look at things like that. Now I'm like, when my son goes off talking about some video game and he is getting technical deep in a video game and I have no clue what he's talking about, I try to always maintain that's really awesome and ask a question because it's not exciting to me, but it is to him.
Right.
That's a piece of dad advice.
Is there a difference between excitement and enthusiasm? Enthusiasm is something. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, okay, so let's do the story here because this is the obvious thing. AOC refers to Trump's legal trial as a legal version of an ankle bracelet. He cannot leave the 5 boroughs because he always has to be in court. Here is Crazy Eyes
really
herself.
And by the way,
is it really
well, it's affecting. He's outraised. I believe he's outraising Biden in funding, but
affecting him negatively. I don't think it's affecting him negatively.
Sure. I mean, he can't do what he wants to do, and he has. I mean, he's able to turn bad press into good press for sure, and he's getting free press. But he's stuck in New York, and I wouldn't want to be in New York.
He's doing it in the South Bronx, not to make a point, but because he's got court. And the man practically has the legal version of an ankle bracelet around him, and he can't leave the 5 boroughs because he always has to be in court. And so it is truly an embarrassment to him. And I am looking forward to the response of everyday Bronxites talking about how they feel about him coming to their backyard.
My only problem with that right there is that you call the people that live in the Bronx Bronxites. That is my main problem with that whole speech. Do
you remember yesterday when we were talking about eyes and deception?
Yeah.
Just watch her eyes as she's talking. She's talking right to the journalist, but then she's going to reach in just a moment. Look right there. Do you see that? She reached up She reached up into bullshit land to get something that wasn't true. Anyway,
Man,
okay.
I used to live in a little unincorporated town called Boaz, Boaz, Boaz.
Yeah?
We called it Boaz, and I called myself a bozo because I lived in Boaz. Bronxites. That sounds like
hey, listen,
I'm looking it up. It's a real word.
That sounds like I got some bronxite here underneath the ground. How much is it worth?
You know what? Terrible. If that's what they want to be called, that's fine.
I'd rather be called like a Bronxonian.
Man, I don't know, man. This is crazy.
Bronxonian?
That's pretty good.
I've never heard bronxite, but apparently it's the right term.
Wow.
Okay. Well, hey, they get to decide that.
Cool. Cool.
I think that people that
I'm learning.
I think that people that live in Houston call themselves Houstonians, or that's sometimes how they are referred to. I never think. I know. I am just straight Texan. Actually, when people ask me what country I'm from on the internet, I always say Texas. And they're confused. It's funny. Anyway, looks like Trump's going to be doing a campaign in the Bronx. So I hope that people turn out and cheer. I don't know. Okay.
Well, I mean, speaking of, good turnouts for Trump, because he is, got that ankle monitor on. He can only do so. You kind of wonder if Trump is going to get the jam-packed stadiums, that Biden is pulling in. Biden had a rally last night. Did you know that? I did not know. I have video. I want to see it. The jam-packed Biden rally last night. This is for real.
Oh,
this is the stadium filled.
Oh my God! There's elevator music on this thing.
Wow.
Wow.
You think about 30, 35, 50?
Pause it. This is the young table right here in front of you. If you look over to the right, you got old guys. This is the young guys. They're all 30, 35, whatever. You look just past the next table over. Look at that. That is the grayest gray hair.
That's so gray. It's blue.
Okay. Wow. All right. Hey, there's almost dozens.
Look, he's got his open body turned towards the children.
Also a pretty diverse group. It's also a pretty diverse group.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Look, you got a veteran back here. One.
This is 30 minutes before the president of the United States is supposed to be in this room. Feel the excitement?
Wait, the barrier that you see on the left-hand side, that barrier separates press and media. So press has to be behind the bit. So the right-hand side, that's the entire audience. Was that Steve Ducey from Fox News? I think that's Steve Ducey, White House reporter.
I don't know. This came from Kyle Becker. He's a Fox journalist, so it very well may have been. Yeah.
Hey, speaking of Joe Biden, guess who is not guaranteed to be on the ballot in Ohio? I guess they didn't. So Biden is not currently on the Ohio ballot for November, and state lawmakers say, then we don't really want to fix this. So here's the skinny on this. According to Ohio state law, the candidate has to be certified 90 days prior to the election, but the Democratic convention or whatever it is that's going to select and certify the candidate is going to be held 75 days between before the election. So that means that Biden will not be certified as the candidate before the deadline for Ohio. In the past, when this has happened a couple of times, Republicans have had a scheduling issue. The state lawmakers would pass a little, bit of legislation to put him on the ballot. But they're not obligated to do that. And currently the legislature in Ohio says, we don't really want to do that. We're just going to let the law stand as it is. To which some people are complaining that that's not fair. And here's the post from Frank LaRose. He's the Secretary of State of of Ohio. I've said from here to Colorado that it's the best interest of voters to have a choice in the race for the president. I am also duty bound to follow the law as Ohio's chief elections officer. As of today, the Democratic Party, not presidential nominee, will not be on the Ohio ballot. That's not my choice. It's due to a conflict in the law created by the party, and the party has so far offered no legally acceptable remedy. The Ohio House Speaker said today there will not be a legislative solution, so I've sent a letter to the Ohio Dems chair, again asking for a solution that upholds the law and respects the voters. The response to the Secretary of State of Ohio, the response on Twitter has been like, "You cheaters, cheater, 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 da 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 da, wah wah wah, silence, nerd. So you're a cheat." Got it. So here's the thing. The Constitution of the United States says this. The Constitution says, I'm not sharing the rights. In Article 1, Section 4, the Constitution says, the times, places, and manner of holding elections for senators and representatives shall be prescribed in each state by the legislature thereof, but the Congress may at any time by law make or alter such regulations, except as to the place and choosing of senators. It is the legislative body of Ohio that chose the 90-day deadline, and it's the legislative body that has the prerogative to override that, to add
That's
or
all
not
for
add a
senators
candidate.
now. That's all for senators.
No. It also says Republicans, representatives, right there. Senators and representatives.
State representatives, but that's not presidential candidates.
Yes, but it's up to the legislature to prescribe the manner and the holding of elections. So it's the state legislature that gets to decide how these elections.
If they do something to get Biden's name put on there, do you realize the storm that will erupt? Because they are going to be accused of cheating at that point.
If they add Biden
at this point, because they're going to be under so much scrutiny, because this is the law. Y'all didn't follow the law right.
Right. Yeah. Or yeah. Well,
lose.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really think it's a lose-lose. I don't know that. I don't know. They're saying that there may be alternative remedies. We don't know. We don't know what the alternative remedies are.
I said this to Deke earlier, but 17% of Kentucky Democrats voted uncommitted.
That's what the story I was trying to pull up to show you on the 17%. Screen. But
he lost
New York
7
Times,
counties of the 120.
When you try to pull it up, the New York Times won't hit on this web browser. It says show all, and you hit the show all, and it won't show all on the freaking web browser, but it will on my phone here. So I was going to read you the counties. There, like Dave said, there were 4 counties that uncontested beat 7. Yeah, there were 7 counties where uncontested beat Joe Biden. Floyd County, Knott County, Union County, Breathitt County.
Mm-hmm.
Ballard County,
Ballard and Union.
Holy crap!
What by you, man?
Right over here next to me. Wolf County.
And we need a map of this. We need to see a map.
It's not going to look very impressive if you look at a map.
Yeah, here, let me show you. I got a little map up. It's just like a little map, but here, let me. You see,
Ballard County's not a little one though, is it?
Ballard's right here. It's
not a
kind of
one.
Yeah, it's not a big county, but it's right next to. It's right next to McCracken County, which has got Paducah. Jefferson County is right here. It's got Louisville. Fayette is right here. It's got Lexington.
Bowling Green.
Yeah, Bowling Green is right here.
The 3 biggest ones.
And then McCracken County's right here. So those are the 4 biggest cities in Kentucky. Now, a lot of those counties that uncontested were here in the mountain regions.
Uncommitted,
uncommitted is right here in the mountain regions. You have what is it? Union County.
Union.
Yeah, it's Union, and that's Ballard. But there's Breathitt over here and all them. So isn't that interesting? But I was looking at that. I was looking at that, thinking that could quite possibly be these old people. These old school people that still believe the Democrats are the Democrats and the the Democrats are the farm and working men and the Republicans are the rich. My dad believed that for the longest time. And he has just now in the last 3 years, if my dad has changed his election the way that he looks, then something is wrong, because this is a man that doesn't give two flips about
Blue
government,
Yeah.
straight Democrat, worked hard his whole life, you know, and if he flipped, I was like, holy crap. And I honestly think this is all this is these older guys that are still clinging to this democratic way of thinking that they've been brought up for 60 and my dad's 74 years old. You know, he's always lived that. And I think that they've realized these past 3 years and seen what Biden has done, and they still they'll vote for anybody else, you know?
Yeah. So we are I'm going to say in this regard, we're not really normal because we're reading news and politics every single day. And I don't think people normally do that. I wonder if there's a point in time when people like your dad, do they stop reading the news? Do they just stop paying attention to?
Yeah, my dad did.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. They stopped printing newspapers. It's harder to get newspapers now. Older generation
my dad doesn't get any news on here.
Right. Yeah.
The only news that he gets is if he's scrolling Facebook and he's scrolling for memes and stupid crap to send me. And you
get no straight information on Facebook.
Exactly.
You get what your crazy cat neighbor lady thinks was true.
And then imagine having a son like me. Y'all know how my brain works. Imagine having a son like me going in and talking to dad and being like, Dad, it's aliens and they're trying to control you and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, whatever, bub. For somebody that don't care in the first place, when you get somebody like me that's actually trying to be like, dude.
I'm telling you, the deep state is out there trying to frame the president of the United States. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Do you want some more? Do you want some more chips, son? I just asked you if you needed more pork and beans. You didn't have to go on this. I tried about Joe Biden.
Okay. So President Biden not guaranteed to be on the election in Ohio, and that is actually perfectly okay. We'll see. I'm sure it'll get fixed.
Song. Crosby, Stills and Nash. You can forget Neil Young. But,
let's see. Oh, hey, I got one more Biden story, and then we can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about.
Okay.
This one's pretty good. This is not the first time we've done this story, so I guess it's same song, different verse. I guess you could say. Biden announced he's going to cancel more than $7 billion in student debt for 160,000 people.
Okay, so if you have your internet dads, formerly your two dads, bingo card, you may notice that about 6 to 8 months ago, we predicted several things that Joe Biden would start bringing out closer to the election. So you can check off the student debt on there. You can put a little circle on that card on your bingo card today.
This is
again.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. If you've got it on there twice, you can get it twice. That's okay with us.
So actually, I got a similar story in a different field, but I want to talk about this. So Joe Biden has revealed his administration is canceling $7 billion in debt. The White House issued a statement announcing that 160,000 people in the United States would have their debt canceled. And I believe he even said on here, I don't know if he has the clip on here, but there's a clip where he literally says the Supreme Court said we couldn't do this, but I'm not letting that stop me. So let's see if he has.
Just wanted to follow up.
Oh no, I don't want to hear from her.
I like JP. She's so pretty.
I don't want to hear from her. Yeah. So at one point he did say that the Supreme Court prevented the prior cancellation of debt. The president does not. Okay. So first of all, there's no such thing as cancellation of debt. What's going to happen is that there is already a bunch of debt that students took out in loans, right? Guaranteed by the American people.
That you have repaid over the years, but they called it interest. But they have their principal already. Everything else that you're paying is interest.
Sold.
So if they cancel interest, it's really not a big deal.
Do you have any idea how many times my student loans were sold?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I have $20,000 in student loans, you're not going to pay, if you're buying the student loans, you're not going to pay $20,000 for my student loans. You're going to pay like, I don't know, $10,000, $15,000.
And then you collect on the interest.
Yeah.
So what's actually going to happen is the loans guaranteed by the federal government, instead of being canceled, the American taxpayer is just paying for it, which means that you, Deacon and Dave, your taxes are being taken and given out to students in the form of loans, and then the loans canceled, but you don't get your money back. So that's just a transfer of wealth. Okay, so the stipulation that I'm making is that this is a gimme for young people. Biden says, I'm canceling your debt. I'm not saying vote for me, but vote for me. So I saw this the other day and I thought, this son of a bee. The United States is to close the Northeast gasoline reserve with 1 million barrel cell. So in the past, and we don't talk about it as often, but I have talked about it before. We have in the United States a national oil reserve, a strategic oil reserve. And we have these depots. There's some in the like Louisiana, Gulf Coast area. There's, I guess, some in the Northeast where they hold fuel. They hold fuel in the case of a national emergency, a war perhaps. And over the last couple of years, Biden sold off a ton of our fuel to lower gas prices so that the 2022 midterm elections would be slightly more favorable to Democrats. Never refilled the missing oil. Now he's going to sell 1 million barrels to try to lower prices again in advance of the elections. And instead of refilling it, he's going to close the reserve, which what that's going to do is it's going to lower the amount that would be the denominator in the division. So instead of saying, oh, we have 40% of our oil reserve is full, he's going to lower the capacity of the reserve, and then he's going to be able to come out and say we are now up to 50% of our reserve. So the Republicans can't say that we're not putting oil back in the strategic oil reserve.
Just one little bitty. That's just the top layer of this cake, the freaking fondue icing. All right, you want to get down into the cake of this. It is the fact that if we don't have enough gasoline in our country to fuel our country, and let's just hypothetically say that there's an army that has invaded our country and it plans to hypothetically take over our country in this story that we're saying, and we can't import because fucking bridges keep going down and all this stuff. Oops. Sorry about my language. Whoops. But just, do you see where my hypothetical crazy brain is going?
Yeah.
No,
it's not. It's not completely. It's not just international conflicts. If we don't have enough fuel, we can't move products. We can't move equipment. We can't move people. We can't move anything. When it gets close to winter, you can't keep people warm in some places of the country.
Yeah, because coal is bad. Coal doesn't.
Coal's bad.
Ever, it's bad.
We'll just have electric heat. Where are we going to get the electricity from?
Coal,
sun, the wind. Okay.
I got what the tornado did to that those wind turbines, by the way,
in Iowa.
Oh, I did not. I want to see that.
Man,
it's on there. It's bad.
I got it. Right
you got it on here? I don't have it.
No, I don't have it on here, but I've seen I had a picture of it this morning.
Yeah, those wind turbines are designed to pick up wind.
Yeah, you would think. Tornado has killed multiple people in Iowa. Here's the turbine.
Just horrible.
Look at that.
That doesn't look right.
No.
Mm-mm.
That does not look right.
Greenfield, a town of 2,000. Goodness gracious. Several fatalities. 23 tornado reports.
Well, when there's 2,000 people in your town, there's probably 3 churches, and almost everybody knows almost everybody.
Right.
There is. I'm in a town of 1,000. There's 11 churches, dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm in the Bible Belt. So that's
you're in Kentucky.
In the Bible Belt.
I don't know about Iowa.
I bet there's 300 churches in a 50-mile radius. I'm swear. I'm not even.
Of me, easily.
No, of me. I bet there's easily 300 churches in a 50-mile radius. Easily.
Yeah, there's probably more than that because you're going to hit Louisville in a second.
Yeah. All right, I got a very disturbing story. I wanted to, but we've got to talk about it because it's just what the crap. So American Airlines is blaming a 9-year-old girl because a man filmed her in the bathroom and they're blaming her. So Estes Carter Thompson is accused of recording multiple girls by taping his phone to the plane seats. Okay, in a new court filing, American Airlines says the young girl should have known that there was a recording device on the toilet. Defendant would show that any injuries or illnesses alleged to have been sustained by plaintiff Mary Doe were proximately caused by plaintiff's own fault and negligence, American Airlines said. She knew
She's
or should
9
have
years old.
known contained a visible and illuminated recording devices. This guy is accused of having videos of girls aged 7, 9, 11, and 14. This is this piece of scum here. This is a minute long. You want to watch this?
So American Airlines is saying, don't blame us for Thompson's alleged perverted behavior, but they hired him and they put him in a position of supreme authority, which all flight attendants have on flights. Passengers, may I remind everybody, face federal penalties if they refuse to obey a flight attendant.
Federal.
Exactly. In my view, is have they no shame? You know, this happened on their flight. We understand that allegedly there were at least 5 victims of this flight attendant. This terrible thing happens on the flight. And what do now? They try and wash their hands of it. Sorry, well, this is a risk you take when you fly. Yes, we may hire pedophiles. That's your risk. That's your risk when you fly. It is absolutely outrageous. They should be ashamed of themselves. And why, instead of filing these frivolous motions, in my view, don't they finally take responsibility for what happened? In the months since this happened, they have not even bothered to reach out to either family to ask, how are they doing? How are the girls doing?
So if you fly on Boeing, you're going to fall out of the sky. If you fly on American Airlines, you're potentially going to get videotaped and you have to follow a federal flight attendant's pedophile's instructions. So let me tell you the Papa Rudd way to handle this, the Papa Deke way to handle all this. Don't fly.
Well,
man, I gotta go to Omaha this summer, and I gotta fly. I ain't driving 12 hours.
I figure if God would have wanted me to fly, I would sprout some wings out of my ass and fly around like Warren Worthington III.
Well, I am not going to have a strong opinion of that. It seems like I don't know. It seems like maybe
I really hope American Airlines will come back and say, no, we didn't say that. Our lawyer said that, and we fired our lawyer, and we're putting.
Really, that would be
the good thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then American Airlines would say, oh, we didn't reach out. Oh, we're firing whatever group that is, and the president is going to reach out to these individuals.
That would be
president of American Airlines.
That would be the appropriate response right now. That would be that's what you could see coming. Absolutely.
Wow.
All right.
God, I can't believe it.
So we're going to switch gears here. We're going to go to Illinois because they're doing some really interesting things in Illinois. They always do. Some of the greatest politicians our country has ever seen have come from
the best you can afford.
Absolutely. I mean, they only have how many of their governors were in prison? All of them?
Coincidence. Mere coincidence.
Dude, Chicago is at the top of Illinois. I am close to southern Illinois. It is just right across the Ohio over here, or the Tennessee over here, and over the Ohio. I was right the first time.
Yeah.
And man, southern Illinois is like
it's very different.
Freaking tumbleweeds rolling, and they got a giant Superman statue, but that's about it, and a casino that floats on the water, and that's about it. It's like tumbleweeds. So Illinois, they're very not so crooked state. Look what they're doing, JJ. I'm going to let you listen to the JJ and Dave.
Okay.
All
right.
Let me pause it. I'm going to let you listen to it. They just passed a bill to change a word. All right, a word in their government. The word is offender. All right. They've changed the word offender to justice impacted individual.
What?
Okay, here you go. Listen.
Come on.
Well, we don't mess with anything in terms of the term victim. We just change offender to justice impacted individual.
adding the Department of Corrections, adding Human Services, adding Sangamon and Cook County adult probation, and 2 members who've experienced the ARI system as offenders or justice-impacted individual.
It might seem like a small thing. I mean, obviously changing a term can have a positive or negative impact when we do that. But I would say that over and over again, we keep changing the names for how we are referring to those who are have
criminal PCOS
into criminal activity. And each time we make that change, each agency has to make that change on every one of their documents. So right now in the Department of Corrections, there's multiple changes that have been made, and it's costing thousands and thousands of dollars just to do a name change. So I would ask, why is it necessary to make the name change? Even if the rest of the bill was okay, which I don't think that it is, but even if the rest of it was okay, the name changes may seem like a small thing, but it costs thousands and thousands of dollars to do that.
Now she's arguing about the money cost on it, but I think
she's not arguing about whether it's right or not.
Right, you're missing the whole point. I think.
Well, you're not going to win. You're not going to win if it's right or not, because these people are like, they have some weird ideology. So you make a practical argument.
Offenders.
That's where my brain is going. You know, I'm playing chess over here. So why is the name offender changed to justice impacted individuals? There has to be something 3 steps down the way. This is going to that this needs to be done. I have to move my pawn up here in order to move my knight over here, and I have to sacrifice both of them in order to get this piece up here. Right? That's how you play chess. And
take your term sexual offender and reword it now.
Sexual.
That's the one I'm thinking of.
Individual.
Yeah, and then sexual is going to be moved eventually.
Yeah, like that doesn't make sense to say it there.
Also,
emotionally charged.
And I think this is a big thing here.
This is about sex offenders, dude. I think you're right.
It's about words. I think you're right.
It is about words, 100% about words. But who are those words impacting?
Offender. You automatically, that's a negative connotation. You got a negative.
I'm thinking guitars.
It breaks down to
offender.
Okay. But it breaks down to bad guy. You hear offender and you're like, oh, bad guy. That's a bad guy.
Now
it used to be bad guy.
Justice impacted individual. That is lawyer bullcrap legalese that is designed to make your brain not go to the place that it's supposed to go.
Right. If you start having
washing.
If you justice impacted individual, you hear that and you're going to be like, your brain has to be like, hold on, justice impacted. What does that mean? You start having to like figure out what it even means. You don't even know. You don't even know. It's about confusing.
Justice impacted individual. This person is a justice impacted individual. I almost think that they're what happened to them. You know? It's about turning the offender into the victim. It's what it looks like. It's what it sounds like to me. That's the first information in my mind is that justice impacted individual. Oh my gosh.
I was minding my own business and, borrowing money from the gas station, from the gas attendant, I was just taking some money and I was suddenly impacted by justice. I was run down and shot at and handcuffed, and I can't believe it. It's about reframing guilty people as victims.
Do I?
Mm-hmm.
I said, take your tinfoil hat off, sir. That's not what this is about.
Totally. It's all right, 8:40. You got some fun stuff?
I got a cool story here that I just wanted to point out. I thought this was cool. I saw this come over the news in my nerdy stuff this morning, and it made me immediately realize something. So the U.S. Air Force, which I was almost in a different timeline, I was in the Air Force. The U.S. Air Force has released the first official pics of the B-21 bomber in flight. Look at that sucker, man.
Is that real?
Yeah.
Yep. That's real.
Look at it.
Deke, I got to say, that looks familiar.
What?
It looks familiar. No, the next one.
This one.
That one. That looks like something from nature.
You're exactly right, Dave. That does look familiar. That was a
Looks
beautiful
like a bird.
What kind of bird,
What
JJ?
kind of bird?
Look like a bird.
I don't know. Looks
How
like
about
a
the
pigeon.
fastest bird in the world? Is that a
okay.
Falcon. Look at that falcon. The falcon is an unbelievable bird. God designed everything perfect, and then we model everything after nature. If you will look at a lot of things
per hour,
I thought it was like 90 or 100 or something when
no,
it
it's
gets
over.
into
I think it's over 200.
Oh, I don't know, but it's you can clearly see that that the falcon there. I don't know how to switch the pages. I have to bring this one back up. I'm not
240 miles per hour.
Yeah.
So it has so this is a like fixed wing type thing. It's similar in profile to the B2, right? But the B2, I had family friends that worked at Lockheed Martin on the B2 back in the 1990s. But the B2 had all these weird.
Are all bombers fixed wing?
Yeah. That's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is it's a wing body. It's
a wing body. Yeah. This one's a wing body too. The B2 was too, but I knew what you were going to say. The B2 had all that. It wasn't as tapered in the back as this new.
Right. It had all of these weird angles, and the angles were designed to bounce radar off of it.
Yeah.
So obviously, there's no weird angles. This has got more of like an aerodynamic slipstream thing. I wonder what its radar profile is.
It's going to be
I believe the. Oh, is it?
I guess it is kind of. It's not more smooth, but it's got some things out of it.
What's that bouncy sound? What is that?
You're at a military base somewhere.
Yeah, somebody's shooting. It just took off. It's still got its landing gear.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I would assume that it's
right.
going to be based on the metal or the paint that's on there.
The metal.
When
and
there was a paint that's used on the.
Here's the thing: we're spending a bunch of money on a bomber, but we're not at a war right now. So
that thing's
maybe
been in
we
development for decades.
You know when you say something stupid to your dog and he changes his head like this, he looks at you like, "What did you just say?"
I mean, it's a lot of money to spend on a plane, and we're not at war.
The R&D for that thing was years ago.
Dude,
how do we
started in the 40s, in the 50s? They started designing that stuff so long ago.
So you're not saying that we should start a war with somebody to be able to use our new plane?
Oh, I'm just saying, hey, look what we got. And by the way, this is just what we're showing you.
Isn't that biblical? Kind of. Wait a minute. Let me see if I can connect this to biblically. What's the verse that talks about you should wear your sword and display your sword, but only know when to draw your sword and use it? What am I talking about?
Well, there's the verses about the armor of truth and the.
It's not the armor of God.
No, there's definitely passages about making sure you have your sword, but not using your sword.
Yeah, and having the restraint to not draw your sword.
Right.
But don't be afraid. There will be a time that you have to draw your sword. Don't just be pacifistic or the pacifist all the time. That you have to draw your sword sometimes.
I'm waiting for Deke translation. The Deke translation
of the Bible,
the message. Yeah, but we're going to call it the red Bible.
No,
thank you. no, thank you.
As enticing as it is when I used to walk through Books A Million, I would go down there were several aisles that I would always go down and look, and the religion aisle is one of them, and you have to get past.
Hold on. I think this could have been done a little bit better. Let me fix this right now.
Are you familiar with the Cotton Patch Bible?
I've heard of that.
Okay, I've got a copy of it up here on my shelf. It's basically if the Bible had been written to churches during pre-Civil War time. It's splendiferous.
Sorry, JJ, you got really loud there for a second.
I apologize. I don't know what happened.
I don't know. You just get excited.
So I had one story since we're on to biblical stuff. I don't have a link for it or anything, but I know I've mentioned it off and on. Like I hate seeing ministers in the news for bad stuff. And right now there's a minister by the name of J.P. Miller, I don't even know which state he's in. I think he's in Florida. Fairly big church, I guess. His wife unalived herself.
Oh my God! I saw you. Did
Mike
you post
Miller.
this in that?
I
posted this in Discord.
Probably off and on, but the speculation is the 911 call is AI voice recording of her.
Oh, that's what that is about.
The lawyer for the minister specializes in AI stuff. She died from a single gunshot wound to the back of her head. There were multiple casings found at the crime scene, though. There's a really weird story from the guy who found her property and potentially heard a gunshot. He was a fisherman. And like, man, this story is just getting weirder and weirder and weirder. The dude preached 2 sermons back to back on Sunday morning because he has 2 services. And then at the end of the second service, he asked everybody to stand up. He said he has an announcement to make and he wants everybody to leave afterwards to not talk about this decision. But then he says essentially that his wife killed herself, not in those exact words.
I watched that. That was absolutely crazy. I was like, oh my.
Yeah, and this is his second wife. His first wife had to sign an NDA when they split, and he was dating his second wife while he was still married to his first wife, and he's already dating another woman. So,
whoa,
there are some. This is just your reminder that there are some evil people out there. I'm not saying the dude did anything wrong.
There's no good guys, but sometimes it's pretty clear that there's some bad guys.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that he did something, but this is a scary situation. And
I'm going to do something and try to have it as an example for tomorrow. I'm going to work on it today, and I'm going to try to have it as an example tomorrow for you. But I ran into a buddy of mine, a computer tech buddy of mine, in Walmart the other day, and we were sitting there talking, and he was talking. We got onto AI. He's like, "Oh, dude, I've been using vocal AI so much, blah, blah, blah." I was like, "Really?" He said, "I got something for you." And so he farted around on his phone for a minute, and he pulled up this audio file, and he started playing it. And it was of my owner of my radio station. His name is Jim. He's been in the radio business since 1950. Okay. He's an 80-year-old man that's been in the radio business for a long time. And he was sitting here saying all this stuff and reading this whatever news story. And then he starts cussing and whatnot in the news story. And I'm like, "Where did you get this?" And he said, "Dude, this is AI." And I was like, "Really?" And he said, "Yeah." He said, I got so-and-so to give me an uncut copy of one of his interviews that he did back in the early 2000s or the late 90s. And I used, I had like 20 minutes of his audio to use into this AI, and it was immaculate. This is the man that hired me 30 years ago. Like the first words I just told him the other day when we were talking, I said, "You don't remember the first thing you ever asked me when you hired me at 18 years old, do you?" And he said, "No." And I said, I sat down. I was very nervous as an 18-year-old, and this big intimidating guy with this big booming radio voice, his name is Jim, and he had a big voice. And he said, how do you pronounce the letter after V?" And I said, "W?" He said, "Yes, not W, not W, it's W." That was the very first question ever asked of me when trying to get hired in radio, is how I pronounce the letter after V. And I've known this man for 30 years. He actually, this is his voice. We all have to know how to do his voice. "Oh, Andy, we need to have a talk." That's a perfect impression of him. So, and I've heard that a million times. So the AI was fantastic. So I've been farting with it. I haven't got a subscription like he does, so I don't get very much stuff. Yeah, you can do it for free, but you don't get as much as the paid and whatnot. So if I paid, I could feed it stuff and get a perfect match. And that's what I'm trying to convince my people to do. So I'll have something for you tomorrow, because I did not know what that story was, but I've seen like some videos of these people saying,
I think I sent you the former FBI agent who,
that video was the one that got me looking, and he was like, this is AI. Everybody thinks this girl's call was AI on this pastor's murder thing and whatnot. And he said, "Here's the kicker." And at the end of the video, he's like, "Here's the kicker. Everything that has been said so far has been AI." And he's like, "Hi, I'm real now and really talking. And but all that crap. And I've watched that guy. He's a former FBI agent that like talks while he's walking and gives these stories and stuff. And I love him. Some of his stories are fantastic, man. And he was like, this whole video has been AI. And I was like, whoa, dude, I listen to you all the time and I couldn't tell.
Right.
I wasn't watching his lips.
Yeah, I'll have to send it to you, JJ. But at any rate, I just wanted to, like, it's a story that I really wish people would watch because suicide's a big deal to me. It's something that needs to be discussed, destigmatized, and I think that there is help for people out there.
It's very rare for women to use a gun to commit suicide.
Especially to the head. And the number of people who would suicide with a gun to the back of their head.
I haven't seen the evidence that it was reported. I have seen a gunshot wound to the head, but I'm looking over here, but I haven't seen back of the head.
You're right, though. That statistic for females to use some violent means of suicide.
They use pills. They do it in the
women
tub.
go out easy.
They'll slit a lip. Sometimes.
Yes, slitting wrists, I guess, is probably the. I'm not saying all of them, but a majority of them are non-violent.
Women will use a gun to kill a man, but
yes, or scissors.
Yeah, but generally not self-harm.
That's hilarious. Me and my ex-wife, who's a nurse, and she's like a nurse practitioner now. We have a great relationship, but we used to joke around. She used to watch those shows. We used to watch those shows, Forensic Files and stuff like that. And she told me one day, she said, we would joke like this, and I knew she wasn't serious, but she was like, if I ever killed you, I would inject you into your butthole. And I went, what? And she goes, most autopsies won't check in the folds of the butt. She said, I'd knock you out and inject you into your butthole. And I was like, oh my God. So I was like this every night.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
That's terrible. It's scary. All right.
Yeah, there are lots of air in a syringe right into a vein. Yep, there's lots of bad ways.
Let's
just put a Band-Aid
learn things on your.
So let's talk about music for a moment. Oh my God, the butt. Ew.
Yeah. Okay. So our playlist this week is songs for the future. And do you guys remember? I know Dave will, but JJ might not. Heavy D and the Boys.
Remember Heavy D and the Boys?
Yeah. Run DMC?
No, Heavy D.
Now we found love. What are we gonna do with it?
So Heavy D and the Boys had a song called "Letter to the Future." It's a great song. Listen to it. It's pretty cool. I had to bleep out one word when I'm posting the lyrics, and I had to bleep out one word in the lyrics. But it's a good song. It's a letter to the future. And it was during the 90s, the late 90s, when a lot of the hip hop was positive black messages. Not saying there's nothing wrong with that. That is how the history of music and the history of American music went. But in the late 90s, a lot of these hip hop groups were coming out with positive black messages. Heavy D and the Boys had positive black messages. Do you remember Diggable Planets? I'm cool like that. I'm cool like that.
Yeah.
That was a band called Diggable Planets. They were real big. Do you remember Arrested Development?
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee and Mr. Window. Yeah, Dude, that was all in that era.
Jet a second.
Yeah, that's cool.
When was the last time you heard a record scratch on a song?
They still do that crap. They do it all the time now.
They really?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's get to. If you've got to go, let's get to jokes.
All right, so I'll be quick then. Why do bees hum?
I don't know. Why do bees hum?
Because they don't know the words.
Oh Lord.
Okay. No.
Fish in St. Louis.
No. Hey, what? Oh my God, I messed this up. What stays in the corner but travels all over the world? A stamp.
That's pretty good.
That's not good.
That's not bad. All right. So I just want to let you guys know that I've been working on something in secret that you have not been known, that you don't know about. I've been actually trying to clone myself. The experiment has been a success. I'm excited. I'm beside myself.
Yes. Hooray. Thank you for watching, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow. Wow, it's taking a long time.
Lying left and right. You can help us bring facts into the light. Don't let your daughter lose her next swim meet to a psychopath dude with fake teeth. Whoa. Tune in now to That Show. JJ and Deacon, they're the ones that know.
And Dave.
Subscribe